We're in a mood. We're in a mood.
We have got a mood
just,
going.
We have got a
we
mood.
just thought business.
We're just talking
Now
about
I
stuff.
gotta get my business brain out, and replace it with my podcast brain. But
Well,
I'm ready. I'm raring. I've got my. I mean, should we just? Well, we were gonna do something first because Simon wanted to talk about.
I don't want to talk about it.
I was just like,
you brought
guys,
it
I gotta talk about this on the podcast.
I mean, it's an important topic.
Yeah.
First things first.
It is.
First things first. Can we do some beer? Because I'm.
Yeah, I was literally gonna
Wait,
say.
you want to
can
go
we do-
straight
Can
into
we do
beer?
beer first? 'Cause
Please.
It's been sitting out the
Do we not
fridge
have
for the
Do we not
last,
have something to do first, Trip? Come on.
No,
No,
we're
I
doing
want to
beer
do it
first.
with. I want to do it with a beer.
The
Okay.
patrons can wait.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hamish,
patrons.
what are you drinking
Well,
tonight?
Simon, it's another one of my Christmas beers from one of the mums. Faye.
Hey.
Doesn't
One of the
matter.
mums.
Doesn't matter. I've got a Lucas gluten-free Pils
Ooh.
Lager. It's one of the three. So I don't know if the
Lucas.
gluten-free is going to make it Garbo, but we shall see. What about you,
Interesting.
Dr. Sandman?
Dr. Sandman is here. I have gone for a local brewery called Neon Raptor. They brew about 10 minutes away in a part of Nottingham called Snenton, which is being
Where?
gentrified.
Snenton.
Snenton.
Gentrification in Nottingham. My goodness.
Gentrification in Nottingham. So this is a Neon Raptor brewing company, Slushosaurus.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Slusher.
And this, it sounds pretty bad actually. Green apple cinema slushy sour, 5%.
All right.
That sounds alright.
So I've gone for the sour beer tonight. See what
Oh,
my face
yeah.
tells you about the.
I can see why you were in a sour mood before.
Oh.
Oh. What about you,
it
Golden
smells of
Boy?
Oh my god, it's bright green.
Oh God! What about you?
Tripping pin.
No,
we can use
Trip.
our wrestler names because the.
Don't you just hate
spoilers
it when
should
it
be
comes
up
out
there.
green, boys? I mean,
Oh,
Oh, it's your turn, is it, Simon?
I mean,
You've
you've had the snip, so I don't know what happens afterwards.
we're just continuing the interruption of Trip.
But
Yeah.
I just drink my damn beer for the love of Christ. What is
Whoa!
happening?
What is that? That looks like a hole. Right. What about
Oh my
you?
god! Okay, actually, wait. What was that? Show that
I told
beer
you,
again.
don't you hate it when it comes out green?
Why is it green?
Because it's an apple slushy flavour beer.
It was a
Oh,
bit. Oh, that is not a beer.
that doesn't
What is
look
that?
good. That's bad.
I'm waiting to
Uh,
taste it.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Golden
I've got
Boy,
the
stick
beer-
on Trip. What have you
I've got the
drinking?
beer that I was gonna
Pin.
drink last week, but I was too hungover to drink. Oh, I didn't want to waste it.
Yeah.
Remember that was 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
I've got my Lincoln Lager. which
Lincoln Lager.
Kate got me from Lincoln,
Lincoln.
presumably. But the name of the brewery is Ferry Ales Brewery, which spells out Fab. So it's the
Hey!
Fab Brewery. I don't know if you can see that,
Wow, there we go.
YouTube listeners. It's
Uh,
back to front, but there you go. So
not back to
it's
front,
it's a Pilsner. So it actually looks pretty tasty. So I'm looking
Pilsner
forward to
Lager.
having a lager. Cold beer on an incredibly cold day in the United Kingdom. But cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
gents.
That looks disgusting.
Yeah, go on,
it looks
Simon.
like you poured yourself a glass of apple sours, to be honest,
have.
mate.
Just drink the damn beer. Please tell us.
Is it good?
Yeah, you
don't know
can't
yet.
stop.
Mm.
Okay. It's sour.
It's sour.
You'd
Not
hope
very
so.
appley though. There's an apple aroma to it, but it's not very appley. So it's sour. It's okay actually.
It's okay. All right.
Bit of a head on this one.
All right. Okay. Now we're ready.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Now,
Now
we're
we're
ready.
in.
We're in. We're locked in.
Well done, guys. Well, do you want to do the Patreon thing now?
The Wheel of
wait.
Time.
I'd love to, Trip. Go for it.
No,
Wheel
well,
of
I've already
Time.
rolled it, so I should do my intro, which is every episode we give away 6 packs of. We're currently doing Dusk Till Dawn. I think we're going to be switching to Bright Lights very soon. So on to the next step. And if you're a patron of Push to Point, doesn't matter how much you pay. We have £3 a month, £5 a month, and £10 a month tiers. You get put into a giveaway for 6 packs every episode. You do eventually get your packs. It's about to become a lot quicker because Sean said he's going
Sean's
to take
about
over.
to take over.
And I'm going to hound Trip every day.
It's gonna happen, guys. It's on the. I can see it on the table with a little name tag on each of the piles.
It's going to
so-
happen.
Sean sent this picture through, and it was just like I've already prepared the envelopes and the packs, and I was
Did
like, Sean, you
actually,
haven't
didn't he?
even
He's got it.
started yet. Sean is a different guy to me.
We've
I have
established this.
I have my good, my skills. And we've recognized it's not one of them, so we're going to swap over. But I am very good at spinning a wheel on the internet. So I can announce that the winner of this week is Daniel Nyberg. So congratulations, Daniel.
Hey.
Well done.
We got it pointed out to us recently that our good friends Jake and Sharif Shaban still haven't won, and they still haven't won. So sorry about that, guys, but it's the way the wheel rolls. It loves to roll people with the name beginning with J. So I think Jake has got a chance.
I mean, it
Shin,
obviously hasn't this time.
Not so much, but congratulations, Daniel. I'll message you, or Sean will message you on Discord, and maybe Sean, and we'll get those sent over to you as soon as possible.
I like
within
how he kicks,
6 to 12 weeks.
You kick Sean off with an international already.
We know.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you are a patron as well, you get a early access into the Metal Fab tokens that I have all behind me. We have got some new stuff coming, and Brandon has confirmed to me that they are on their way. Could be some cool deck boxes you've seen on his website, and if you're a patron, you'll know when I've got them, and you can order them before I let the world know. Also, Thistle Tavern is a amazing Scottish singles card seller. Yeah, I knew Trip was about
single
to
store.
Single
The
store.
Scottish single store.
Yeah, the Scottish single store. And 10% off to all patrons as well for your singles.
Actually, a really good deal. To be
yeah.
fair.
That is a good deal.
And Heavy Hitters is coming up, and they're going to be in Liverpool, they're going to be in Warsaw, and they're going to be at Pro Tour Amsterdam. I don't know if they're going to the other one. And they're going to be there, and they're going to be selling cards. If you're a patron, I'm sure they can hit you up. There you go.
Yeah, what I like to do is the new sets. Like, if you can't buy it, like I always try to pick up the generics, the like generic Majestics.
Mm.
And
You've made a killing on some of those.
Like I picked up my diplomacies when they were about 10 to 13 pounds. And I was like, maybe this is a bit too much, but I've never been let down from buying generic M's in Flesh and Blood. And like, even if you just join the patron scheme for like £3 a month, you get a 10% discount off. Like, if you do a £50 plus order from Thistle Tavern, just why not? I guess like you will save money, and you get to support our podcast, biggest Flesh and Blood podcast in the UK. We're doing our bit to try and talk about Flesh and Blood and promote the games. So you get to support us, and you get to save a bit of money. So be nice to see. We just had a couple of new patrons join recently, and it's always nice to see new names on the Discord. But that is enough of that.
You could win 6-packs that will sit on Trip's desk.
Yeah, that's also
know.
Just immediately get your patron for like several months back. And people have had a lot of luck with the promos that we've had, like the Good Deeds Don't Go Unnoticed promo ended up being quite spenny.
Worth quite a bit of money, yeah.
So
we've given away some Herald full art, Rainbow 4 Heralds.
If you know anything about Push the Point, we do like to give stuff away quite a lot. We got a lot of like things still, and hopefully at Calling Liverpool, which we will all three of us be at, we'll be able to give away a few bits and pieces. I don't think we're doing new dice. Sorry, yes, Sean as well. Shouldn't forget Sean. I don't think we're making new dice for Calling Liverpool, but we've got loads of our old dice to give away to people.
I think Sean's sorting out.
Have you got loads of dice?
Yes, Trip's got loads of everything on his desk.
Loads of dice is maybe a bit of overselling it, but we have some dice. But yeah, Sean is sorting something else, isn't he, Hamish?
Yeah, I think
excited to see what this.
Which we're planning to get some promos. If not, Simon's just going to contact the dice guy. On early
Just
night.
do it.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're going to do something.
There goes the budget.
So
where's he going to get his coffee machine from? If he,
quite.
Yeah, quite. Well, okay.
We mentioned the coffee machine. I don't think we did.
We've not gone into it yet.
Okay, timestamp in 3, 2, 1.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, I hope I started recording.
Home news.
10 minutes.
Home news.
Wait, let me add it.
Home news. So, Simon, you've got some pressing home news.
Have I? Is it pressing?
Yeah.
We said depression.
It's
pressing.
Oh, God.
It's pressing.
This sounds depressing now.
I mean, I only have 4 methods of making coffee in my house currently.
Four?
And I'm
I
thinking
only know one.
and I'm thinking I need another way of producing the black nectar that is coffee. I think it's more that I've got a little bit of a voucher burning a hole in my pocket because it was my birthday last week.
Oh, happy
And
birthday.
it was Christmas the couple of weeks before that, and I've got some John Lewis vouchers, and I'm thinking, well, what can I buy at John Lewis? Maybe an espresso machine to go with my mocha pot and my AeroPress and my French press and another, what else? A drip coffee machine. So I mean, what more could you want?
Make sure you do your research though, because
Well, this is what I was trying to
There's a
do.
lot of
Like you guys
options
were
out
talking
You were
there.
talking about Elden Ring. This is where
So
I'm
these
gonna
guys were
zone
talking
out for
about
a bit.
Elden Ring, and I don't really play Elden Ring. In fact,
new
I've never
DLC
played
is
Elden
coming
Ring.
soon.
So
No, it's not.
I was looking at
It
espresso
is.
machine
There's
reviews.
news
Hang
on that.
on,
Sorry,
we're gonna
Simon.
talk
Sorry,
about
Simon.
it.
We're chatting about Elden Ring. We just cut you off, but we'll.
We're not going to talk about it too much. Anyway, please tell me more about this
Simon,
really
why-
amazing.
Why? Is
Coffee
it?
machine.
Do you ever drink like lattes and flat whites and stuff?
I'll give you
No,
2
I drink
minutes.
espresso though.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it's worth it for the espresso, but
Like,
I just
I drink
find the
black coffee.
AeroPress
I
is
don't-
all you need.
The
AeroPress
AeroPress
all
is
you need.
very good, and I agree that I get a lot out of my AeroPress.
Remember
But
episodes,
sometimes-
whatever number it was,
Yeah,
Blazing
AeroPress
AeroPress.
episode,
Do you remember that
yeah.
one?
I
Back in
remember
the
that.
day?
We both got
It's a
AeroPresses
pun
out.
off Blazing Ether. The card.
So-
Hamish just looks so sad. You
mean,
like coffee, Hamish?
the
You
answer
don't
to
drink
this
coffee,
question-
do you?
Have
The
you
answer
got
to
one?
this
You've got
question
one
is
more
I-
minute
I-
left
I-
of this chat.
I blatantly do not need an espresso machine. The fact that my
Yeah.
wife would hate the fact that it's going to sit on the countertop is
Takes
also
up a lot of
another.
space, though.
Yeah, it takes up some
You
space.
could put a rice cooker in that spot.
I was looking at the Sage Bambino, which is a small manual espresso machine, but it's okay. I don't think I need it. I'll talk myself into it and out of it about 5 times before I buy anything anyway.
Well, there you go, guys. Let us know in the comments below if Simon should invest in a espresso machine from
Yeah.
John Lewis using the vouchers that he has available to him.
What about you, stick on trip, Golden Boy?
Well, Hamish, the
Strip and
news
pin.
is Elden Ring DLC.
Alright.
They announced. They haven't announced anything, but they've added. I think it's like a release or something to the Steam entry for Elden Ring, which is like freeing up. Essentially, like it's like saying they're gonna release something and they're making the space for it. So
Alright.
it's actually quite likely to be announced relatively soon. Could be on the anniversary, which I think is in February. So I'm very hyped. I love Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I still play it almost every day. Not every day, but
That's it.
He's
That's
trying to be
a-
cool
no.
and say almost every day. He
I
plays
have
it every
played
day.
it.
That's
I
impossible
play a
because
lot.
you tell me you play Bloodborne every day, and if you're not playing Bloodborne, you're
I
playing
didn't-
Dark Souls
no.
3 every day. So what game are you
Bloodborne,
playing
I
every
do
day?
not play every day.
Every
Elden Ring, I
time?
play every day.
Oh,
I
whatever
played
game.
Resident Evil 2 recently. That was good too.
Oh,
if you want a little
interesting.
game update, Resi 2 remake, really good. Resi 4 remake, obviously super, super good. And then play Elden Ring because Elden Ring's great.
So I
That's it.
decided
We're
on
going
a
to
game
talk about
update.
Flash and Blood. We're
No,
gonna talk
not
about
yet, not yet.
Oh.
I decided to
Oh,
get
Don't want to know
Metal
about
Gear
my
Solid,
home news. All right.
Metal Gear
Oh.
Solid Collection on the Switch.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 3 remake has just been announced.
Yeah,
It's called
so-
Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know why.
So
not even 3, is
interestingly,
it?
I thought the collection 1, which has got Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 ports on it, I thought they were gonna do a bit of a Twin Snakes GameCube version and like update the graphics a bit on it. and-
Why would they do Twin Snakes? That was not that great.
Well, it was a remake, sort of a
was a
cover
remake
of
of
number
one,
one,
wasn't
wasn't
It
it? Yeah.
was a remake of 1, but it was over-egged and it's hyper
was
anime
over-egged.
like move sets. He's like, "Whoa,
but
yo, yo," and you're like, no,
I
why is he doing
I
this?
thought they were gonna make the graphics a little bit better, and they haven't. It's just a straight port of games 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it's almost as like they're trying to cash you in and on.
I mean,
on
they've
nostalgia.
massively cashed in, haven't they? Yeah. And it's been quite fun playing it actually.
Yeah.
But
What game
it's a bit clunky. What's that?
What game are you up to?
No,
You're
I'm
on
just
one
playing
still.
through Metal Gear Solid 1. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
play it a lot.
My favorite bit is where you basically have to backtrack through the entire level to like pad out the game for like an
Oh,
extra
yeah,
hour.
yeah.
Or so. That's a classic early game thing.
Do
where
they have-
I've just come up
go back
against.
through the
I've
levels.
just come up
you've already
against
beaten.
Psychomantis now.
Oh,
quite early on
did you
still.
disconnect your controller? How did it
Yeah,
work?
you
in the Switch?
obviously you go to your second controller on the Switch.
That's cool.
You just have to change the controller to number 2.
Turn off the that's Metal Gear Solid 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Turn off the video
Yeah,
game
yeah,
console.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and
Love it.
I
So
did.
good.
I did.
Yeah.
We all did,
And then
Hamish.
stop
We
playing.
No,
all
I
did.
actually I did because I thought, oh god, I was actually quite freaked out. So I was like, oh, I'm turning this off.
Metal
Anyway,
Gear Solid 3 is still one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like a
It's
James
so
Bond
underrated
film.
as well.
It's the best James Bond video game.
I've got
For
something
sure.
to show you from my home news.
Oh, show
what's
me.
Hamish's home news?
Wow, let me just undo my. No, I'm only joking.
It's a special for the YouTube listeners.
have you
Oh,
ever-
you're doing
23 and
what?
me. You're doing what?
23andMe.
The 20,
Doing it.
23andMe. I knew Trip would know about this because he's young.
You've sold your DNA data to a
Yeah,
company.
you're gonna sell your DNA, and then
Well, I'm not
you know.
selling anything because it's a Christmas present. So my mum's selling my DNA away. I think.
Oh, that's fun though. It'll be interesting to see.
So
the result.
what do you have to do? Spit in a tube.
I fucked this up.
Spit in the wrong tube.
I spat on the bed. Oh no! I,
It's not a tube.
I didn't spit in the tube. I spat on myself. No.
Just imagine you just spitting all over the
I
place.
was like, I was like,
Where's the tube?
I was like-
bring me my tube.
Faye saying, you can put the tube near your lips. You don't have to put it as arm length.
You doing it from like 2 meters away,
Yeah.
like trick shot.
Yeah. That's how we got to know. That's why you love me, Faye. I could do a 3-meter spit.
I love you
All right,
in spite of
Gaston.
that reason.
Well, anyway, I screwed this up. So you're meant to spit in a tube, right?
Mm.
So I did that with ease, and then I closed the lid. I didn't know, and Faye, by the way, told me, "Have you read the instructions before you?" I went, "Yeah," and I didn't.
You hadn't,
I was,
no.
no, I was like, "Yeah, it's a piece of piss. You just spit in it, right?" So I spat in it, and then I closed the lid, right? And as I closed the lid, I then looked, and I felt like something went, "Ksh," and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." It feels like something just happened as I closed the lid, and then the fluid filled up even more, and I went, "Oh no, did I spit too much?" So I thought, "Oh, I'll pour a little bit out," and then I put the lid on, and then I realised
no.
that the only a little bit. So hopefully this still works. So then, I realised that the liquid, because after I read the instructions, was meant to keep your DNA better. So I actually poured in the chemicals to keep your DNA in your saliva all there, and I was like, oh
And you poured it
god,
all out again.
no, I didn't pour it all out. I just poured it because there's a fill line, and then I thought, oh, I don't know what to do, so I just spat in more of it and then done it up. And then as I've done
Incredible.
it up, and then I'd done it up, put it in its package and sealed it up. And then Faye said, you're meant to register it before you do all that. And I said, all right, okay, I'll register it. And he went, okay, what's the barcode on the thing? I was like, oh, for God's sake, I've sealed it all up. And so I've had to...
You really messed that up, mate.
Oh,
you couldn't have done it worse.
Yeah.
Well, you probably could have done.
Well,
But
yeah, I could have just... Well, so
yeah,
they'll
I can
probably
think
come
of a few
back.
things.
Yeah, they'll probably come back and they said you've got the chromosomes of a carpet. So well done.
Yeah,
So...
man.
I mean, we knew that already.
Well,
but
yeah,
still.
that's true. So it does. Apparently, my mum, when she gave it to me, it says it tells you how you might die. And I was like, well, that's literally.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
And then I did this
Blimey.
big ass survey, and then I realised this survey never ends. And then I realised I didn't need to do this survey, so I just gave away so much of myself to the internet.
For none.
For none. Yeah.
All your data, all your details, and now you're gonna get,
On the next podcast, we might be able to know
Oh,
if
no.
you're half Norwegian.
Well, most likely. I mean, it's likely that they'll probably come back. If they come back and say, "Oh, there's not enough, whatever, in it," it's only got to go to Bedford. I mean, I could just drive there. It's like literally near my house. So
right. It's 20 minutes in, lads.
We've not talked
Oh,
about
I'm so
Thistle.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Knowing about my chromosomes is less interesting than a fucking coffee
So if
machine.
anyone
Yeah, you're
doesn't
absolutely
know,
right.
push the point. Push the point is the UK's premier Flesh and Blood podcast, where we talk about Flesh and Blood, for at least 40 minutes every hour-long episode.
20
Okay.
minutes and 20 seconds time stamp.
Yeah,
Flesh and blood
even-
chat.
So I think we should talk a little bit about our preview because that will have been released by the time this is
Yeah.
released. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
we should talk a little bit about the event that's going on in Queenstown at the moment.
Yeah,
Quite a topic.
the
And-
Invitational, right?
Quite a topic.
And then I think we should talk a little bit about some of the previews that have happened already.
By the
Yeah,
way,
that's
this
a great idea.
Monday, everyone. So we're only seeing Mondays.
We've
Yes.
just seen the new legendary headpiece, generic headpiece,
We
to
have.
give you context of the time and date. But we'll talk about
Yeah.
a few
Before we go into that, I think we should talk about,
Spoiler.
in my opinion, a masterpiece that's been put together mainly by Sean.
Yeah. Sean did. Sean,
Yeah,
this is a
almost
Sean
entirely
spoiler.
by Sean.
This is a Sean
Yeah.
spoiler, this one.
Well, it's our spoiler made by Sean.
He had a vision. Sean
Sean.
had a vision.
He had a dream.
He had
Yes.
a dream. He had a vision. And vision is an important word for this podcast because Hamish loves to talk about vision. And I agree with him. Like, you need a vision. You need to know where you want to get to be able to make anything like that happen. And Sean came to us with a vision and has made it work brilliantly.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Fantastic job. We did a lot of work for a card
Let's
that
face
you
it,
might.
the card is not
That
meta.
great. No. The card's not that good. But
we've always said this. We've always said it doesn't matter what the card is.
No.
It's about the story you can tell with the card, right?
That's a hard
Do you
story to
think-
tell as well. But
Do you think LSS have cottoned onto this and they're just giving us terrible cards to make us work to give a good preview?
No,
for a
that's
terrible
not
card?
true.
Like,
Uh,
do you think
Brilliant
that's how it
Touch.
works?
Virulent Touch turned out to be a really
Virulent
impactful
Touch,
card in
yeah.
Sealed, so I thought that was a great one.
And
Scrap
Slithering
Harvester
Shadowpede was a great card.
Slithering Shadowpede
in-
was incredible.
yeah,
Yeah,
Slithering
fire.
Very
Shadowpede
lucky.
is what's made Levia like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Competitive,
mainstay card for Levia.
Yeah.
I think
Or Via.
LSS give us, they rotate, they always give us a card with it that we can tell a good story about. I think this one was maybe the first, when we first looked at it, this was probably the more challenging one.
No,
that
that Scrap Harvester was also.
Scrap
just like-
Harvester was,
That was
I don't
like-
feel like, yeah.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
remembering
Yeah.
Hamish's video for that now.
Wow.
That was brilliant.
No, yeah. You're
It
a
was also
doctor,
on
for
a tight
God's sake.
deadline, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But this card, it was like,
You're
okay,
a
I can see
coward.
why LSS might have given us this card. There's clearly like a theme around like, drinking and
They got us
brawling.
on that one.
Yeah, so I was like, this is a great card. But
Guilty.
Sean came up with the idea, and then we put together our wrestler personas, and it was really fun to record. I really enjoyed it, and we should also give a huge shout out to Shin and Jake,
Shin and Jake,
who
yeah.
did the commentary. Very kind of them. Push the point patrons, but it's not a patron thing. We thought they would be really good at it, so we asked them to do it. And they
I'm not
did a
gonna lie,
fantastic-
they're friends. They were
Yes,
friends
they
before.
are.
They were friends before we were even a
Yeah,
podcast.
absolutely.
So we just hooked them up, and they did. I did kind of tell them when I showed them the script, and they went, "Oh, are we sloppy seconds?" I was like, "Look, right,
Oh,
just ignore the Kieran and Carol.
you left the names on.
Ignore that.
Oh,
Ignore that we've
brilliant.
also
It's
asked.
the harshest.
Ignore that we've also asked Zach from Team Covenant as well.
I can't believe you left the names on.
Oh,
I
that's
love
so
it.
harsh.
Imagine that. You're
We-
just like, oh, thank you, Hamish, so much. It's just an honor. Oh, wait.
I
Oh.
said, "Come on, boys, pull your socks up." Right,
Yeah.
and
but
they did.
I'm glad
and,
you
and
got
they
them.
and they did. They went above and beyond. We had a very good fun time putting that together. Faye was sitting by the side here, listening to the chit chat, and we're just giggling all the way through. So,
Oh, those two are great.
And it turns out that asking LSS employees to be involved in a preview video didn't quite work out how we wanted it to, but that's okay.
no, it's all right.
Yeah, I
You
feel
never
like
know.
those-
One day we could be. They could
Maybe
be
one day.
LSS, and we could say we were cool before it was cool.
But yeah, it was great. And thanks for them for being involved, and thanks LSS for giving us another spoiler.
Yeah,
I feel like
massive.
this one really we really were like, yeah, Sean really got his teeth stuck into it. It was really good because I feel like we were all a bit busy.
Yeah,
And Sean just taking it on was super useful.
we
And
definitely had an appreciation for what he was looking to get to, and I think he's executed it really well. And I hope you've all
yeah,
enjoyed it because it was a real testament to Sean's effort.
and I know people ask like we're planning on getting Sean back on the podcast for like a Sean special. You know, we have them now and then. We'll bring on Sean to the podcast.
Yeah,
We'll try and get him on again soon. I
to
think
bask in the
maybe.
glory of the Premium
Yeah,
Club, maybe.
because I know people love to hear from him on the podcast, so we'll bring him back on. He just has, he's a busy boy, so he's not baked every other Monday evening into his schedule the same way the three of us have. So
No, yeah.
yeah, but we will get him back in for sure.
Talking about awesome giveaways and stuff. This celebrational. It's a bit of a.
Yeah, what do you guys think about it?
Is it celebrational or invitational? I couldn't quite remember what it was called.
It's called the celebrational.
Celebration.
Yeah, that's what
I
it's
think
called.
it's a yeah. I really like it. I think it's a really cool idea. Like obviously,
What's the objective? Marketing.
yeah, I guess so. I
Well-
think it's an opportunity to bring people into a tournament who are like like in a good way, like are personable people that can have been supporting the game, whether through content creation and other ways. And I think they get showing off the new set. I think it's kind of a cool thing. It's a lot of other games and sort of like competitive games often have like a pool of people that might not be the most like competitively talented people, but they're like big names in the community, and it's fun to see names playing against each other. In my
Well, they
in my
have
opinion. So,
invited some professional players as well, not
They have.
just content creators.
And
yeah,
they've invited a
they're
mix
all
of
like
people from across. Yeah,
well-known people though. They're not just
So they had
it's
a
not like
list.
yeah.
So they had a criteria, and those criterias are like who was the highest ELO player in Europe, and that go to Viet Fam.
Vietnam.
Viet Fam. So he was the highest ELO player there. Brody Spolak was the highest ELO in the US, and another player. I honestly, I feel awful. I can't remember the chap's name from the APAC region. So they fit that. Why did they go? They fit that criteria, and that's why they go in. And then man, who's going to be covering the celebrationals? So the Savage Feats team with Mansent and
Yeah,
Savage
that's
Night
really
News.
cool.
That you're going to get those guys down to do that. Who's these judges? Well, this judge has done some serious work. So yeah, when you list down the criteria as to why are these people going, when you see this criteria, 100% awesome. Get why they're going. Get this event rocking out. All of them are going to be throwing their stuff on on Twitter and YouTube and everything. Marketing on this new set, awesome. And you get to say a massive thank you to some long-standing, hard-working members in the community to do stuff competitively in the community. I totally get that. That's absolutely awesome. One little weird thing was that because of this event that has one of the things in this event is that you get every card given to you in the set apart from the expansion slots, and you get to make a deck. I think it's like, I don't really know how or what, but I think you get to make a sealed deck, but you have one of every card in the set that you have access to. So the thing that's kind of made a little bit people funked out a bit is that they've seen the entire set and they're playing with the entire set a week before everyone. And the argument of, well, they're content creators is like, well, actually, there's pro players that are going to go to callings and they're ahead in knowledge a week before. I'm not saying this is, I mean, I'm just throwing out this is what the funk is. What's your thoughts?
I think it's okay. I think I'd be more concerned about like the effect on the market in terms of the singles market if like that information is available, but I don't think Fab is at the point where it would be too significant that it impacts on like the everyday player. I think that
What about the competitive players having so the argument would be is that, well, they just know what's happening for their callings that are going to be dropping on, like, like Liverpool is a week after the release, and I think For some of us, they're like so like on that time, and for all of us, we got to figure out what we got to do while spoilers are happening. But they know it now that and they're pro
Yeah.
players that win cash in top level events.
And I
That's
guess
the
some of it
argument.
depends. I guess some of it depends as well if there's a non-disclosure agreement in there, like if they're allowed to talk to their testing team about different cards, if they're allowed to take pictures of certain cards, like.
But it's not so much that they're going to be handing that information out to the team for as leaks. I 100% think they've just been flown out to New Zealand, got accommodations, got these amazing like goodie bags, been to HQ. I mean, bro,
Yeah. It looks.
You're not
going
to blow that through leaking to your team. But the point is that I'm the pro player that knows everything, and I'm now a week ahead of everyone for cash pro level events. That's the point.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, I get it.
I don't know. Yeah, I can see.
But
I empathize with the argument, but
we're also talking about 3, maybe 5 top ranked players. Like these are the top elo players in the world, and they're getting an extra week. Like they're good. They're up there for a reason. They're good anyway. Like
yeah. I'm just.
I don't know how. Realistically, I don't know how. I can see the argument, but I don't know how much effect it's going to have in real. Like I
find it difficult to whip up any kind of righteous fury about it myself. Yeah. I think I just personally not that.
I don't care.
And I recognize that like some people might really care about it, but personally, I can't pretend that it bothers me. Because it just doesn't really. Like, I think it's a really interesting format that they've built for this thing, where like I think it's really cool that like you'd arrive and you'd just be given all the cards and then you set, and then you have to build a deck for it. And I like that exists. And maybe that's a bit tainted by the fact that like we are content creators, and obviously we're not at that top level where we would be invited to something like that. But obviously we have aspirations, and like it could happen to us potentially. And like, I'd love to be involved in something like that. So I guess that's also tainting my opinion. That's like, oh, I would love to be able to do that too.
My whole thing about this weekend or this week coming up, the Celebrational, is I can see what LSS were trying to do and trying to whip up a bit of press about flying some amazing people in. And they've obviously done a huge amount of work, whether it's building a community or being part of the community or playing. Like LSS have obviously shown their affinity towards these people and flown them in, all expenses paid, whatever, boxes of goodies, alpha pack, Arcane Rising first, Crucible first, everything first. It looks incredible. My view on it at the moment is tainted by the fact that it's brought some of the worst out of the community on Twitter and on the interwebs, because you've got a lot of jealousy floating around. Mm-hmm. And you've got a lot of concern about showing the set to some of the best players in the world. Like, and again, that comes probably down to jealousy. Like they're trying to promote the game. They're trying to show how awesome they are as a game studio. They're trying to get people involved, but the internet has taken it in a really jealous way and is showing some of the vile nature. They've not gone at LSS either. They've gone at the people that are being invited, and that's wrong.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I think this thing happens with games all the time, and I actually think, like, I don't know how popular this opinion is, but like, I would actually think I'm quite happy with LSS because they've actually invited well-known people in our community, but by no means well-known. Well, maybe I don't know the exact list, but realistically, not that well-known people. Like
they're not from other games; they're from Fab.
Yeah. Like I would have a completely different opinion if they brought in like famous names from like YouTube, famous YouTubers or Twitch streamers that have a very, if any, connection with Fab. That would be a complete different situation. But these. Again, I don't have I tried to find the full list while Simon was talking,
they're
I don't have that
from
list
the
in
community. Yeah,
they're all people, as far as I'm aware, that have a strong connection to Flesh and Blood. Been playing it for a while. They are famous within our community, and there's obviously going to be a level of like, oh, I wish that was me. Like I wish I was there. I wish all three of us and Sean was there. But like, and I'm sure everybody wishes they were there, because why the hell wouldn't you? It sounds amazing. It sounds really cool, but we're not there. but I don't resent those people, and I wasn't aware of like if anyone's being an asshole and tweeting at people who are there, like that's not cool because like who's gonna say no, right? Like, would you have said no? Like that's not cool. Like if you don't agree with the format, email LSS. Don't tweet people who are just got invited to the coolest thing, and don't send hate towards people because that's not fair. Send it towards companies. Companies can handle it. Don't send hate to LSS. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But send constructive criticism to LSS. Don't at people on Twitter because they got an invite and because it's a really exciting event for them. Because I feel like I've talked about this quite a bit, but the people who are famous in Fab are not well-known famous people. They have people that become famous thanks to this game, and they're not famous either, but like they're famous in Fab. They're normal people who just created a YouTube channel or are really good at this very obscure game that we play. Don't forget, it's really obscure game. Like, and they've got to go to New Zealand and got a bunch of free stuff. Like, that's so cool. And I hope we could be happy for them rather than being like resentful of them, because it's such a great opportunity for a lot of people that would maybe have never got that opportunity in their lives otherwise. So anyway,
no, that's I think my only thing is I wasn't.
The competitive thing is valid, but
No, not
again,
the competitive.
yeah.
That's, to be honest, I just threw that question out, and my response is I don't care. Like, personally, I personally don't give a shit. But the only thing I will say is I wasn't really 100% sure what if the objective of the celebrationals what that was, because I think if the objective is we just want to use this as a great way of marketing the upcoming release and start the new year off with getting some, I don't know if the answer is well established, but just extremely committed and like community members in the team, and thanking them for it. Well, that's if that's the objective, then awesome. But I think a lot of people also equally just don't care at the same time. I think a lot of people just are not that bothered about the celebration event as well. I think for a lot of people, it's really cool and obscure. But a lot of people just kind of just go, that's cool. But like, it's like me hearing about the news that's going on in Nottingham, and I'm just like, yeah, fair enough. I'm sure it's amazing that you had this great march and whatever, but it just does not affect me in any way. I just want to see the cards. I want to take that back to my community. I want to play the game, and I want to get ready. For a lot of us in the UK, we want to get ready for Liverpool. We want to hear stuff that's going on for Liverpool. Yeah. What's going on in New Zealand, and having all this, I think very top heavy, a amount of goodies for these really well-deserved people to get it. I'm like, yeah, awesome, must be nice. That's it.
But it's aspirational as well for us. Like, no, 100%. I think that's the way I also want
everyone to do that. If we ever get, which we won't, because I've just said this, but if we ever get this chance, we're going to say yeah. And then at the same time, whenever we say, look how cool this is, I expect you to go, I don't care. And that's fine, because it is also like, but it's cool for them. I don't know, but I just didn't really know. It's because you've just got some. Look how lucky these 15 people are. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But then it's like, look how lucky we are. We cast Flesh and Blood events, and we get.
I know, but
promos
when
and spoilers.
When we're doing our,
it's all a layer. It's all it's different steps and different stages in your like, in your kind of like content creating kind of, or like sphere, and like
it made me very aware of tweeting.
Just look, it's like
because when I'm tweeting stuff that push the point of God, when we get our spoiler and we got that, when we get it coming in or whatever, I'm also just like, I don't want to. You feel awful tweeting out, look how cool this package is. It's like no one cares apart from you.
But that's just because you're empathetic. Like, you care, you feel awful because you're thinking about the people who would also like that situation. But then you have to remind yourself that the vast majority of people don't give a shit.
No, that's true. I'd rather tell someone something that is going to be useful to them than something that's like, look how good my car is. Cool. It's like, anyway. All right. Anyway,
But it's a really interesting thing, and we will move off this, but I think ultimately I think that the aim. I don't even know LSS. I think LSS just likes to do stuff and to try stuff, and they're just
Yeah.
trying something out, guys. And it's like maybe if you don't like it, tell them because they're just trying out stuff. They've got a really exciting new marketing strategy. It's very obvious that they've really upped it in terms of like the stuff they're doing on social media and the way they're approaching things and they just seem to be very experimental and trying out new things. Some of them work, some of them won't. So yeah, it's cool. We'll
Yeah.
just if you don't think it works, just let them know. But don't tweet at people. That's
dumb
not
as
cool.
shit. You idiots.
You're not helping anybody.
Why
You just
would
make
you-
yourself feel like shit
like,
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
it's
I
like
hope you
getting
feel like
cross.
shit.
It's like getting cross with the person that won Traitors. Like, that TV program.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
exactly like
Oh
that.
god, I'm gonna message you because I can't believe you won that much money. No one cares.
Like obviously
bro.
you can like ask questions to people and like you can have constructive criticism, but don't make it personal and don't
Yeah.
I think the only thing that winds me up is when someone just goes, "I know something you don't." Great. That's not. Do you know what I
If
mean?
you
That's the
don't-
only
yeah.
thing. I'm like, all right, whatever. So what you do?
Yeah.
You scroll on. But anyway,
Yeah,
spoilers.
or just quit social media for a bit.
Quit
That's
social
also-
media. No.
Spoilers. We've got time for a little bit of spoiler chat.
We do have a
We've
little
got
bit of
20
spoiler
minutes.
chat.
Quite a lot have come
Now,
out.
well,
Has there been any more?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's a
there's a
legendary just
lot
been
today.
released.
I
since
can't. I
we,
better look on my phone because I can't leave this.
So, all right.
Interesting.
Do you want to go straight in at the legendary level or no?
I feel like we
Hold
need
on.
a system, and I think the
Do you want to
system
go
should be-
legendary down or
Yeah,
do
no,
you want to
let's
go
start-
commons
let's-
up?
Let's
No,
talk
start
about the new.
legendaries.
Let's start by talking about the new generic legendary, which is this one here, which is the Balance of Justice, the one where
Yes.
you can instant destroy it to draw a card if your opponent has drawn 2 or more cards this turn.
Correct.
It has Guardwell, which I don't quite understand. It's like
Uh,
Battle 1 2.
It's Battle 1, 2, yeah.
But it's a generic
more, 2 or
headpiece
more.
that blocks for 2 and potentially draws you a card on your turn or has to be on.
Oh, now
potentially
there's
your
another
opponent's
legendary
turn.
been released. Jeez.
Yeah, ignore that one. Focus, Simon. Focus.
There's
We'll
3
get to that
legendaries
one.
out now.
We'll get to that one in a second. It's not for us. It's happening right now. But
I'm
for
just
podcast
reading.
listeners, they've seen them.
I know.
all
This is
for a
live
know.
reactions, everyone.
while. What do you think about the generic one, Simon? Before we get on to the other ones?
Hamish and I were talking about this before we kicked off, and actually, there's a lot of advantages of this card. Like, I think the comparison is going to be made, as Hamish said, the comparison is going to be made to Crown of Providence because it blocks for 2, it's a legendary, and there's an element of card draw.
It's sync on
Now,
a card.
The difference between this and Crown of Providence, yes, Hamish, is you're not sinking a card for this, you're drawing a fresh card. So you could potentially end up with 5 in hand and 1 in arsenal. Plus it blocks for 2, so there's almost another card's worth of advantage there.
And
you could also use it to shut down a big turn. If you just want to block, you can just draw yourself another blocking card. If the ninja is popping off and you're like, okay, I want to like really stop you from doing a bunch of damage this turn.
And actually, with the heroes involved in this set, drawing 2 cards. So the condition of using this, or the instant ability on this, is that the opponent has drawn 2 cards this turn, 2 or more cards this turn. And with Bloodrush Bellows, with
Art of War,
Cash In, with Art of War, with a ninja who maybe is drawing off Ancestral Empowerment or Mask of Momentum, like that's not that hard to do anymore. And I think this has got big upside, and against certain matchups, it's going to be an easy include.
I think this is like, when I look at something like this, I immediately start to think, actually, if Victor is becoming this fatiguey sort of dude, having that turn to just go, okay, I block, okay, you draw, or you starting your turn off with this big draw 2 card thing, and you go, okay, well, I can block for 2, and then I'm just going to draw another card up. So now I've just got like, if I'm just trying to fatigue you out of this game, of your big turn, this card just literally just pops into well, that's cool. Those 2 cards that you drew, well, effectively you just netted 1 card because you've got to play a card to draw a card. So you net a card. I pop this. I also just netted a card of your your one. So we're both actually. It's incredibly strong when you think of the value that is creating that turn from you netting one card to the opponent is now netting a card. If you do that, is massive, I think, and I think very much not a tricky sort of play sort of thing. It's just straight value.
It's value.
Yeah. There's a reason why Mask of Momentum is so good in this game, because you draw a card for free and it doesn't cost you a card to do so.
Yeah.
And at the end of the game, you get to block for 2. And although, of course, this card, you only get to draw 1 card across the course of the game, but that's still really impactful. Is it better than Crown of Providence? I love Crown of Providence. It's like one of those cards where you just like, the more you play it, the more you're like, damn, this card is good.
I honestly don't think that those two are in. I don't think they're comparable because I think if you turn around and went, well, yeah, Crown of Providence is really good against CNC. Well, yeah, you are right. That card is very good against CNC.
It's so much more than that.
But this card, yes, it does a lot.
Yeah.
But I think this card just turns around and answers different questions.
It does.
That Crown of Providence doesn't answer. But maybe the question really isn't trying to justify one over the other. I think it's very much a card that goes, why not both? Because clearly there's going to be, this will do a better answer than Crown of Providence does in this particular matchup.
Quite clearly, if you're playing against the Brute and you want to be able to use this card, anytime they do Blood Rush Bellows, you're like, well, I can block with this card and I can draw another card that's going to block.
Yeah. Or there's I just like Crown of if you look at someone doing an Art of War, a fighter in an Art of War turn or a Blood Rush Bellow turn, or ultimately I think a cash in turn, seeing the amount of gold flying around here, this card is literally
it's a different matchup.
It's a different thing, isn't it? So I think this card is really good. I think it's really good.
I guess just before we finish on this one, I guess as well, like if the Brute player is stacking a bunch of Intimidate, you can draw a card back into your hand potentially.
Exactly.
So if you've got, say, like
it's an instant.
Yeah, so you can, they even if they could like intimidate 5, you're fine because you just draw the card after the intimidates happen. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting because it plays off a mechanic in the set. But, I just also wanted to say I do find it a little bit annoying. Not myself personally because I'm a Ninja player. I guess I should find it annoying about a Ninja player, but my wallet is very happy because I'm a Ninja player because it feels like you need both. I feel like what Hamish is saying. It's like, oh, I think I need this and Providence. It's not like when Providence came out and it was like Skullcap. It's been great. Thanks for the memories, but
Skullcap is still not. Skullcap is still Skullcap is still relevant.
I just feel like this is a very important sideboard card, and I think you're going to need to have both, which is.
But we now have 3 legendary generic headpieces that are all
quite a lot.
That are all viable in different matchups.
Yeah,
right?
it's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is quite a lot.
Yeah,
it is a lot.
It's cool.
Can we get some generic?
I think it's a good card. It's a good option. So moving on to the next legendary spoiler, Aurum Aegis, a Victor specialization legendary.
Oh God, where's that?
It's in the spoilers, mate.
Oh, there's loads of them.
I know.
This card is a Guardian equipment offhand. It's a Victor specialization. It counts as gold and has 2 block with temper. That's crazy.
No.
I love this card.
Yeah, okay. What does that mean?
That's so good.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
You can spend it. You can use it for your cash-ins, or you can use it for your abilities. I don't think it has the effect of gold, like the pay 2 to draw a card, but
it counts as gold. You can block once with it, block for 2, and then you can use it as gold to pay for cash in.
That is so cool. I like that card a lot. That's very thematic as well. I like the idea of him selling his shield.
He's selling a shield to crack on.
Hang on, if this counts as a gold, I imagine the notes will say this, but Kyloria can't steal it.
It's not an item on the field.
Okay. This counts as...
It doesn't have the item keyword.
But also, Victor's...
But that would be so cool.
But we know Victor's hero ability includes the first time each turn you would fail to win a clash. Instead, you may destroy a gold you control.
Yeah.
if you do put one of the revealed cards on the bottom of its owner's deck. So you can use this to pay for that ability as well.
Yeah,
That's such a cool card.
but you
I
only
like that a lot.
it's basically you block for 2, but you can't block the next one because then you lose the gold, right? So you basically got a 2 block. You got 3
Correct.
health, or you can use
Or 2 and a gold.
2 and a gold. Yeah,
I think that's great, man.
it's what I was expecting. And maybe I had my hopes held up higher, or maybe I'm just like. I think the gold thing is cool, but in my head I was kind of maybe just pushing. Like I honestly was selling myself off. It's gonna clash, bro. You're gonna do a shield that clashes, but it's just
I like this
it's
because
different.
it's simple and thematic. So
Yeah.
And it works with the Miller's Grindstone. Like it works with the rare weapon for the Guardian in the set. Because
Yeah.
it's one hand and one hand.
Yeah, it's a really cool piece. It's a really cool card. It's a
fun.
really cool looking card
yeah.
as well. I think we just got to probably see 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's difficult to
more.
know unless
what does
Victor's
gold
any
do?
good.
But then I guess you could, no, but you won't spend 2 to draw a card of that.
thing
You-
is, you
you
can
got
now
more-
start the
you got-
game with 2 gold tokens essentially, because you could play Crown of Dominion, and you could
Yeah.
have this as your offhand.
You're never gonna play
Um,
Crown of Dominion. You're
Why
never.
not?
You don't know. Like you don't know.
Why not?
I don't.
I mean, I don't think you will.
No,
I
you won't.
actually, because you is a guardian, but like you can, and I think that's really interesting.
Yes,
you
you
could
could.
start literally with 2 gold in the bank and just be like, I'm going to play a gold heavy strategy, play an aggressive deck that's going to use things like. Just going to try and play the deck in a very different way. And we've seen people build Guardian in very strange and bizarre ways, like Potion Seller in the past. And like maybe we see something with the
Actually, the
knick-knack
Bravo potion seller
thing, you're being able to start with so much gold and be able to pull a bunch of potions out of the deck and do some crazy stuff. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be meta,
No.
but I think that's a really interesting way of being like, I'm going to play Potion
Yeah,
Seller
why not?
Victor. So that's cool. I
think we need to see more of Victor before we know where the card
Yeah.
fits. But there's a warrior legendary that's looking
Yes.
pretty interesting.
Now this one looks gas. So whenever a weapon attack you control hits, you may pay 1 resource. If you do, create a vigor token. So it's kind of.
And this is called Grains of Bloodspill. By the way, the
temper
artwork.
2. It's got temper.
The artwork
and
on this card is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they've draped this chest piece over a triple-headed cobra, which looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine we're just now. Oh, hang on, we've got another legendary now.
Yeah, no,
No,
stop
no,
it.
no,
We've got
time,
more to come.
one
We've got
at
more to come.
I need to.
Um,
I
Time
need
this
to.
so well.
So this has temper 2 and allows you to create a vigor token every time a weapon attack hits. So
Tectonic
in Kasai,
plating.
for example.
That's all I see.
No. This is warrior equipment.
Yeah, I know,
right?
but
So-
it's like tectonic plating.
yes. Okay. Yeah.
You bank a resource for
Banking
next
a
turn.
resource.
So,
But
yeah.
I think it's a tricky one because
you've already got Courage of Bladehold, right?
yeah, but courage is really
No.
good, but I think it's an interesting one. I think having to like banking a resource is really cool, but I like the fact that Tectonic is unconditional and front loaded, and also
Yeah, yeah.
Tectonic plays to your other cards like Anathos, and just trying to get stuff into the pitch zone for various reasons, and like it just adds up very well.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how well this adds up with with what a warrior wants to do on their turn. Do they have a spare resource? Like, do they want to bank a resource for the next turn, or would they
Yeah.
rather just spend that
Would they rather
resource
have
on
it?
But
doing
listen-
good stuff on that turn? But it's
Yeah.
got temper, so who's complaining, right? That's
Yeah.
still really nice.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think really though you oh no, I don't is this good?
Is it good?
This good?
I mean, you don't want to
thinking-
use it more than once, right? Because
Mm.
once you hit the weapon, you get a vigor token. And then okay, let's say you swing again. You don't really want to spend another one because your vigor tokens pop at the start of the turn and your next weapon attack or next attack, gets less resources. So you're effectively busting 2 of them and the weapon's only going to cost 1. So you're only really going to be paying 1, right? And it doesn't really math up that amazing with the the decimator X either, because if you hit,
Yeah.
which you probably will,
Yeah.
you probably won't spend another one, which you then making the X cost 2, maybe.
I think it's interesting for Dory, mainly because of the lines when you hit with your Dawn Blades, but you haven't triggered reprise. So you don't want to play your reprise cards because you won't get the full effect. So this gives you an opportunity to actually pitch them instead to bank a resource.
Yeah.
So you had like
Yeah,
two
yeah,
cards you were
yeah.
planning on playing that was like reprise.
That's
You might
interesting.
be able to
And then you
stick
get
one
a
in the
free weapon
arsenal.
swing next turn.
Yeah, so you've got like an Iron Song response, right? Like a red Iron Song response, and you don't trigger reprise. And you're like, I don't want to arsenal this Iron Song response because it might not. Because sometimes you get in a position where you can't even play
Just
it.
cycle the card.
Now I can just cycle it away, get myself a resource
Yeah,
for
that's
later.
interesting,
That
actually.
feels kind of nice. It's a
I
classic.
think
kind
it's
of thing.
Bringing back your Dory experience from the Blitz
That's
days,
the Dory
Benjamin.
stuff. Yeah, they often they sometimes end up with too many cards in hand because something didn't. The opponent blocked really well or didn't quite block the way you expected. Obviously, you still have to hit, and they don't want to let Dory hit. So, that's what makes it an interesting card, I think.
I think it's a really great card. I think there's plenty of times as well when actually you would if you're playing, especially Kasai, right, you could effectively be playing a game where you're actually spending your resources on playing the cards and not and you're using those spare resources to make your weapons effectively just keep swinging for free. So actually your resource curve cost is actually spent on the pushes and the buffs rather than trying to map out that I need the resource to swing the weapon and then I need to find another resource to do this. And then once you get that, I think she's just going to be that sort of tempo.
Kasai...
You need to keep that going, and if you break the tempo, you got to
really
find it again.
Point.
I think
you
with
could
Kasai,
run,
the highlight of Courage is that you potentially get 6 free weapon swings in a turn, right? With Blood on Her Hands and Courage of Bladehold, you potentially
that's
have
the combo
six free, right?
Yeah, the Courage of Bladehold is a combo equipment. That's what that is.
But with Dory, for example, that doesn't have the same ceiling. And I think the value of this chess piece is that over the whole game, you might be able to bank X number of resources for the next turn, like in Vigor tokens. So does that match up against Courage?
Yeah, but it's Guardian mindset, I think, because you're effectively
paying
going
for the next turn.
My next turn is going to be stronger than this turn, and that means that one resource would push 3 more damage for next turn. Yeah. It's a really good card.
New Kasai might not even be playing Blood on their hands. So if you take that out of the equation, Courage of Bladehold becomes a 1 turn where you get maybe well, this could be a bunch of turns, and you could run your cost curve really low. If you're getting that first swing for free, you could run a really low 0 cost warrior deck in Kasai with all the buffs that 0 cost, like the second swings and things like that. If you can consistently get that 1 hit in, then you got to pay the 1 for the thing. So it is interesting.
I think it's interesting.
I like it. It's a cool card.
It's a really good card. It's my favorite card, I think. It's my favorite looking legendary.
I know, the next one's pretty sweet.
We are just going to do the legendaries because we've taken way too much time on this already.
We'll do the last legendary. Yeah.
So the last legendary is a brute arm equipment called Apex Bonebreaker, released by Mansant on the spoilers. When this defends together with a card with 6 or more attack power, create a might token, and it has tempered 2 again.
So my first take of this is that the text is boring.
It is boring.
It's boring.
It is a bit.
It gives Brute a really sophisticated fridge at this point.
Yeah. Like, that's the first thing. You've got tempo.
Yeah.
We've now got like
2
you said,
block equipment in each
we've got
slot.
a big amount of blocking power. So blocking with the cards. Well, no, actually, if you think about it, the point.
It's not bad at all.
No, if you think about the points value of it, I block with this and I block with a card for block for 5. But if effectively it gives me a might token, which is another point of value from my 3 block, so it's actually 6 points of value from that 1 block, and then I can turn that might token into +1 damage for the next turn. And when I say it's boring, it's just like, when we're thinking about that last one, it's there's and your shield is a gold token or something. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they're so like, ooh, okay, you could do this and that.
Yeah.
And this is just, well, it's very brute. It's just raw numbers. It's raw stats.
Yeah.
I think this is really nice because I love +1 damage as an Ira
I mean,
player.
yeah.
And I think if people start running the new legendary generic headpiece against Brute because of Blood Rush Bellow, now if you run your CNCs and you can essentially keep a
Yeah.
blue and a CNC and you CNC for 7, that's a really nice pivot. And I think it's just a really like efficient card, right? As Brute, you often want to block. You get a +1 for, and you get this amazing temper equipment. That seems really nice to me, and it's sort of unconditional, right? Like because you just have to block with this and a card, and you're pretty much always going to have a 6 power card. So you can really, even if you just want to throw out like a swing big for 9, right? Like that's fine. Like why not? That's great. Push 9 damage, block for 5, and push 9. Block for a bunch and push 9 damage. Like that feels so
They
cool.
are.
Like this is a really good card. Like a really, but it. I guess there's like, what do you run currently in that slot?
Well,
You
gambler's
obviously got
gloves.
things like the gambler's gloves.
Yeah.
But I always think, when I always think of Rhinar, I always think of Chunks as Rhinar and the like consistent builds that he used to put together, the defensive builds, the high defense reacts where he would like play through his defense reacts so that all that was left in his deck was gas, and this just feels like a card that complements that more controlling Brute play style really nicely and just allows you to put on a little bit of pressure while you're doing it. Like being able to throw crazy numbers while blocking, I think is really cool.
It's a very, very good card. It's exactly. It is. If you think about what Levia now has in a fridge, it's just become quite serious, really. Now with Carrion Husk,
Gosh,
this,
yeah. Husk
and
and this is
Scabs
actually
and
insane.
Crown of Providence, it's quite close to being one of the most. One of maybe not, maybe Bravo and maybe even Victor can, like a Guardian should be able to out armor anyone, right? But Gizo Brute is not. They're not pulling any punches in terms of just raw cheap damage, like you said. Just a swing big for 9. You wouldn't even be surprised to see a swing big for 10 now, right? Because with KO going, here you go. I did my last attack, gave me a might token. This turn, I blocked for this card and whatever, some other power 6 card. I've now got another might token. CNC for 8. Swing big for. Even if you just block this and went CNC for 7, that's oh god,
it's still disgusting,
that's
isn't
gross.
Yeah, you can imagine like you draw an all red hand or something terrible. Like if one of them's a swing big, you can pitch 2 cards, block with a card, block for 5, pitch 2 cards, swing back for 9. So that just feels real nice. And like it just, even with a bad hand, you can make something happen.
And you could, and you will block
that.
with this twice. It's like the other cards that this is what makes this even really good. Is that because a lot of the time, all these other heroes that we've seen with Victor and we've seen with Kasai, we want to kind of keep this equipment around, and because they've got value for staying on the board, and then at the last possible moment we want to get rid of it because we're kind of spent on that and we're on our last legs. And Brute will just go, this does nothing unless I block with it.
Yeah,
Twice.
and like even in a terrible situation, as long as you can swing your weapon, you're still going to get value.
Yeah, and you'll just map out your hand, won't you? You'll just look at this and go, okay, I'll block with this and this. That blocks for 5, and I got a +1 token. Here you go, bam, have a CNC for 7, and then again you just go, right, I'll block for 4 this time, and it's
2 extra damage over the course of the game.
It's got 5 points of value.
In Fab, that's actually pretty huge. Yeah, it is. It's a 5-point value card, which is which you don't have to pay for.
No,
just play at the start.
Do it.
Gets played for free.
This is
pulled out of your deck and played for free at the start of the game, right? That's how I always think of equipment. That's why it's so bonkers strong.
It is bonkers.
It is bonkers strong. It's winning on. It's probably the strongest.
And it's not got much competition, right?
No.
It's got Gambler's Gloves and the Skull Crushers, right? And they're both dice-based cards. And like, if you just want to play I can't even think of
strong
anything else.
blocking card, right?
This just feels like the card that Brute players have been asking for a long time. And
Interesting.
I can't wait. If anyone complains about this one, then come on.
No one will complain about this one. This one's
Yeah.
just straight good. But it is interesting that Betsy and Olympia, I don't know what they're getting.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're getting out of this. Or maybe Olympia. No, okay, Betsy more than anything. What's Betsy getting out of this? Olympia could make Grains of Blood Spill work. I don't think it's for him, but Betsy currently can't use the shield. So she's kind of, I don't know. We'll see. This is what we know so far.
We'll wrap it up there, but the next episode of Push to Point will be out in 2 weeks' time. That's going to be just after the pre-release season. So we'll hopefully be able to, if we can we're going to try and make it to some, but we'll be able to talk about what it's like to play heavy hitters at the table. And I'm really excited about this set. It's not a set that I think I'm going to buy a lot of product for, because I don't think it's like not a Guardian player or a Brute or a Warrior player, but I love so far the cards are getting released, and I really want to play a lot of Sealed and Draft for this set, because I got high hopes at the moment. So
it's the more that I see of the set, the more excited I am to play the Sealed experience or the limited experience.
I love
this card.
I love this set. I've got Warrior cards. I've got Brute cards. This is like this. I can
You're good to go.
I see why you guys really liked Outsiders, and now this is now feels like my Outsiders.
I'm getting tempted. I was going to sell all my swing bigs for big money, but now I'm having second thoughts. So
you're going to be a KO player in no time, and have
KO. I do really like the KO design. So we'll see.
Anyway, thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone,
for tuning in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Love you.
Bye.